When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you
Hi, my name's Simon, and I'd just like to share with you a few thoughts that I have around one of the most common questions that I'm asked in my work with addictions. And that question normally comes from the families, those who love the person caught up in the addiction. Often I'll get a phone call or an email come through or some kind of contact saying, I've got a husband who is using drugs, or my wife's an alcoholic, or my son or daughter is taking meth, or is caught up in marijuana use, or whatever the addiction is. It could be a whole range of different things. And the family is so concerned that they come to me and say, how can I help them? How can I get them to come to see you? And it's a distressing time for family because they're seeing their loved one's life falling apart. They're bearing the brunt of a lot of the addict's poor choices. And so the family are quite invested in seeing the addict get well also. The difficulty is that when we work harder for someone's recovery than they do, then it's not going to be long lasting. Often some people, addicts, can feel a high sense of shame and regret and disappointment in themselves, and feel the disappointment that they're upsetting their family and hurting their family. They see all these things and they feel such shame that they'll just say yes to getting help, mainly to please the family rather than to deal with their addiction. Giving up an addiction is such an incredibly difficult process, and we cannot work harder than the addict in getting well. So what we can do is help the addict experience or have a sense of their consequences and not get in the way of them feeling their consequences. Sometimes parents will pay their drug using child's bills, whether it's a phone or their rent or whatever it is. Sometimes a wife will go and buy her husband's alcohol because it's easier for her to see him have a few drinks and cope with him without the few drinks, or whether the wife's an alcoholic and the husband does the same thing. But these enabling dynamics take place, and it's really unhealthy. And often when it comes to getting help, it's the family or the partner or concerned loved one who is doing all the research and doing all the work. If you could just do this, or if you could call Simon, or if you could go to this rehab, or if you could do this and do that. And they keep putting things in front of the addict, hoping that eventually they'll pick up one of the hints, not so subtle hints, but pick up one of the hints so that they'll get some help. These things don't necessarily work. What does work is when the family help the addict feel the consequences of their choices. Now, some people have a view that you can withdraw your support as a consequence. If you have another drink, then you're not allowed to live in this house, or if you have another joint, then you cannot come visit us anymore, and these kinds of things. And each case needs different boundaries. But when we recognize that the opposite to addiction is not sobriety, or the opposite to addiction is not about not using, the opposite to addiction is connection. And if we threaten to withdraw our connection from the addict, what that will do is just spiral them into this cycle of shame, where they'll think, oh well, everyone's giving up on me now, I may as well use more. And so it can actually have the opposite effect. So we have to find the balance to stay connected with them and give them our support and give them our love, whilst not enabling them and not getting in the way of them feeling their consequences. So this is a very fine line. It's a hard road to walk. It's not an easy one. And this is why families often need support of someone from the outside to look in to see, oh, this is what's going on with the family dynamic here. If you could act this way, or if you could behave this way, if you could put these boundaries in place within your family, then the person will be closer to getting help. So I encourage you, if your loved one is struggling in some way, with an addiction and you're desperate to see them get help, well, one of the things you could do is talk to a drug and alcohol counsellor. You can give me a call. Just talk to someone about how finding a way for your particular situation where you can stay connected but let the addict feel the consequences. And when we can get that balance right, which is an individual case by case basis, then I think we're a whole lot closer to helping see the addict get well. So I hope this little bit of information helps you and gives you an idea of maybe the next step that you can take. But it's not about withdrawing love. It's about staying connected, continually affirming, giving love, but not getting in the way of their consequences. Give me a call if you'd like to talk this through. Maybe you've got a situation that you'd like help with. I'd be more than happy to help. Just go to my website, www.simonwilliams.com.au, and you can get all the contact details there. Hope to talk to you soon.
lights will